snacks. I wanted to actually show you guys how to make selections going out to eat. I was having so much fun on my cruise, y'all. I really wasn't trying to be top flight vlogger of the world. There are many wonderful travel vloggers, people who that's their thing, but you guys click on me for help. You guys click on me for solutions and answers, not just to see me lily-dally in another country, but to actually show you that if you are going to be embarking on a lot of parties, vacays this summer, how to make the best of your decisions if you are going out to eat at a restaurant. So tonight I'm hitting up one of my favorite places, which is Parker's here in downtown Long Beach, and I'm gonna show you their menu and show you how to make a selection of a few different options: seafood, meat, appetizers, drinks, what you should be looking for, some things to avoid. But ultimately, guys, the point of going out to eat is that it's not an everyday occasion, right? One meal does not derail your progress the same way that one salad doesn't make you lose 100 pounds overnight. So we have to be realistic. It's about portion sizes. It's about understanding that the things that you eat consistently over time have more of an effect than one night out. But if you are extremely dialed in, and I mean dialed in, and you're like, I'm not missing no meals, Kayla, I need my calories on point, I'm gonna show you some things that you can choose from to make that happen on a night out of eating. So this is the fit. All right, I'm a little brown mocha moment. I'm gonna go enjoy some food and show y'all what that looks like. BRB. Hi friends, so we are here at my favorite little restaurant here in downtown LV. I'm gonna insert the menu here just to kind of show you what you can look at, what you should be looking for in terms of leaner options. Like I said earlier, when you're going out to eat, one meal doesn't change anything, right? So unless you live a lifestyle, let's say you're a flight attendant, you're a pilot, maybe you even work on a cruise ship, or you work in an environment where you travel consistently and your only option is to regularly eat out, this is what it's for. If you're just someone that's on your wellness journey and you kind of, go through your day-to-day, your life, and it's okay for you to eat regularly, and this is a one-off thing for you, you don't need to stress yourself out. You don't need to track it like you think you need to. It's just going to be a one-off occasion, and then you get right back to your regular routine. So the first thing you're seeing on the menu are appetizers. So when I was still in the depths of my weight loss journey, I genuinely skipped appetizers most of the time. That wasn't something that I did. Either if you're, again, we're talking to people who are really dialed in. So you can either skip your appetizer or your appetizer can be your meal, right? A lot of times, especially here in America, appetizers can be anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 calories, and not just the calories, but the portion sizes. So a lot of times you get appetizers, they're shareable. So your appetizers can very well be your meal. So if I'm looking at this menu and I'm not Kayla, who's already lost 180 pounds, and I'm deep in it, and I'm like, I don't want to do anything too crazy, I'm gonna look at soup. Soup is always very low calorie, but you do want to also pay attention to the sodium content of soup. If you're someone that has high blood pressure, or that's something that you need to be wary of genetically, too much soup, if that's a regular thing that you eat, is something you want to flag. But soup in general tends to be lower calorie. You tend to have mainly liquid and then some protein in there, all right? So I would settle with the clam chowder. I'm looking at it as I'm talking to y'all about it. Brussels sprouts, I would not have that as a meal on its own, but if you want to kind of still feel full, you're gonna still get a main. Brussels sprouts is great. Vegetables are always gonna be low calorie. How we talk about volume eating, the concept of filling up your plate with more food, but it's not adding more calories. So remember, as it pertains to weight loss, amount of food volume does not equal calorie content. You can have a tiny little cheesecake like I had last night. That's not a lot of food volume wise, but it's 3,000 calories, right? So the point of volume eating at restaurants is you're wanting to load up on vegetables, fruit, protein. This is going to keep you on that lower calorie spectrum, but it's going to actually keep you full. What I like here is the crispy calamari. Now that is fried, so that has oil, right? We don't have to, oil is not the scary food monster, but we do want to pay attention to these things, especially if we are being more calorie conscious. So you maybe don't want to go for the fried items. Additionally, you have lettuce wraps on here, clams, and shrimp cocktail, right? So if you're going out to eat, if you can help it, you can tell by the menu, you have a lot of stuff to choose from that's not fried, that's not deep fried, that's not going to have you adding extra calories aside from already how the food is prepared, typically in oil and butter at the majority of restaurants. So you want to focus on these sorts of items if you can help it, if you can choose where you go out to eat, if you live a travel type of lifestyle and you can choose, opt for seafood restaurants, steakhouse. You're always going to get mainly protein options like steak, chicken, salmon. fish, clams, seafood. It's always going to be lower calorie. Do not go to straight up soul food restaurants. Do not go to straight up Italian restaurants. This is where you're going to be leaning more into pasta, fried chicken territory, stuff that's going to be more loaded up on calories. And you can spend those calories on other things if you opt for seafood restaurants, steakhouses, like on drinks or on dessert. Because your main is protein or because your main is seafood, you are going to be able to spend calories on other stuff that you can indulge in if you'd like to. Below this, you're seeing the salad. So if you're really just locked in, you're like, I just need to know that it's keeping me in my calorie deficit. Salad is going to be your best option. You have a lot to choose from here. You have the seafood Cobb, you have arugula, roasted beet, a classic Caesar. You can never go wrong with that. We do want to always keep in mind that salad does not mean low calorie, always, depending on what goes in it. So you have a lot of dressings. You have Italian dressing, ranch dressing, croutons add on it too, right? So especially too when it comes to buying those pre-made salads and stuff like at the grocery store, keep in mind of all of the toppings that come with it. If that's something that you regularly get, if you're an on-the-go eater, those toppings add excess calories versus if you were just eating the lettuce, right? So you want to keep that in mind as well. Looking at the entrees, this is where this restaurant really shines. I like to pig out here, but if I was still in the depths of my wellness journey, still focusing very strictly on calories, this is a very great place to eat, right? At the top of our menu, we have salmon, we have tuna, we have scallops, sea bass, the daily catch, right? All of this is just straight up seafood. It's going to keep you in a lean protein option. The protein is keeping you full, and none of this is fried, okay? Then we have a seafood linguine. That's a pasta. So you're still getting the seafood, but you're adding some more carbs with the pasta. It's not a terrible choice if you are still someone that wants to eat a little bit. You can opt for pasta, but if I was in the depths of my wellness journey, I would be trying my very best to stay away from pasta, only because it adds up very quickly. It's hyper palatable, and it's the sort of thing where you eat a plate of it and that's your calories for the day, okay? Because you're not even taking into account the bread on the table, your drinks, if you drink soda, if you drink alcohol, even more so, and then your dessert. That's a day's worth of calories in one restaurant meal. So we need to be very cognizant of that. So the best way that you can still enjoy appetizers, drinks, alcohol, if that's your thing, and dessert is by keeping your main extremely light. Salad with protein, fish, salmon, grilled chicken, steak, okay? We do have fish and chips. That's one of my favorites on the menu. That's what I'm gonna get is seafood, but it is still fried because the fish cod is in batter and that's fried. So we wanna pay attention to these sorts of things, but if it came down to that being your only option, that versus like lasagna or that versus pasta, do the fish and chips. Additionally, they have Korean fried cauliflower. They have braised short rib, filet mignon, ribeye. Okay, so this is where everything is shining. When I go out to eat, if I'm in the depths of my wellness, I want to choose stuff that is similar to what I make at home. So I make steak and fries at home. So the thing that will help you keep a peace of mind is knowing, okay, if my regular meal prep at home is salmon, sweet potato, asparagus, or salmon, jasmine rice, you're always going to find salmon on a menu at a primarily seafood or steakhouse-esque type of a restaurant. So try to keep things to what you make at home. It's not impossible. So the only thing that you really need to account for is anything additional that they put in it to make it taste good. Oil, butter, that's usually not going to throw you out of your deficit. What throws you out of your deficit is the butter cake, 10 mojitos, okay, we're having a big old plate of pasta, we're having 10 bread rolls. That is what it does. You have to choose, what do I want to spend the most on? If I'm a drinker, if I love a cocktail, then let me keep my entrees light so I can have 3-4 drinks. If I'm a dessert person, if I really like my sweets, let me keep my entree light so I can have some dessert. If I don't care for sweets and I don't drink, then you can go all in on the entree. That's when you can have pasta and not worry about other stuff adding to it, right? Additionally, you see the side dishes. They have spinach, roasted seasonal vegetables, potatoes, asparagus. Again, all of this is stuff that you can normally have as a side for your meal prep at home. So when it comes to the restaurant, it just depends on any additives that they put in it. And don't be afraid to ask, guys. You can always say, hey, please hold X, please hold YZ. Please, if it's possible for my steak to not be prepared in butter. Things of this nature to help you stay on track, right? But again, one outing is not gonna mess anything up, okay? A lot of times after we go out to eat, we get on that scale and we're seeing the scale go up and we think that we somehow undid 2 weeks worth of progress in one restaurant outing. A lot of time after eating, guys, you're holding on to a lot of sodium, salt, water. If you were drinking alcohol, a lot of the stuff can cause water retention, which can make your scale say 165 when last week it said 155, okay? You didn't gain 10 pounds of body fat overnight. You have a lot of content, especially if you didn't use the restroom, etc. So please, please, please do not get thrown off. If you're someone who weighs every day, which I recommend, recommend so you can get used to seeing the fluctuations. But if you're someone who weighs every day, do not get thrown off from seeing a normal weight the day before and then you weigh yourself again the morning after you went out to eat it. You know you did a lie. So why are you acting surprised when you see it up? Okay, that's not body fat. That's just everything that's in you. And when you get back on your normal routine, back from vacay, back from the restaurant outing, back from a few nights of fun times with friends, family, you're gonna see things even out. I actually lost weight on vacation. I just got back from my cruise today, and this is my weigh-in the day before I left. And then this was my weigh-in today, okay? I did get a lot of steps, but I was still eating. I was eating like nobody's business. So it goes to show, honestly, sometimes the more that you worry about stuff is kind of when the scale is stalling. And then when you give yourself a few days, especially when you know you have been locked in on a calorie deficit, you've been eating what you're supposed to have been eating, and you have a few days, your body honestly needs that sometimes to replenish. It needs more carbs from the desserts you're eating. It needs more sodium from the pasta. It needs that, right? To kind of remember that it still can eat food. And then when you get right back on your routine, you're back to hitting 8 to 10,000 steps, 5,000 steps, whatever your goal is. You're back to hitting your movement routine, swimming, running, dancing, Zumba, weightlifting, right? You go back to eating your chicken broccoli rice, your steak, sweet potato asparagus, your salmon, wild rice, broccolini, whatever you do, and you get back right back on it. That's all that it is about. It is about recovery habits. It's not about, why would you think if you do that 100% of the time, that 1, 2, 3, even 4 days. I was on a cruise for 4 days, guys. I was doing the equivalent of eating out 4 days in a row, okay? So one night is not going to, even 1 week, if you on a vacay for 1 week, 2 weeks, is not going to undo 6 months of progress if you have genuinely been dialed in. You should never be disappointed with yourself if you know that you're doing what you're supposed to do to stay on track with your goals. And it's totally okay to have moments where some would say you fall off. I don't really believe in that concept because life is going to continue to keep on lifing, right? Life is life. You're going to eat, you're going to go to baby showers, restaurants, funerals, etc., to where you are out of control of food. So you have to learn how to adapt. You have to learn how to choose what to eat, and you have to learn how to bounce back and recover. That is ultimately what matters, is what you do 90% of the time, not what you do the 10% of the time. If the 10% mattered, then all of the times that we were morbidly obese and we tried to go to Planet Fitness for 2 days, we would have lost 100 pounds in 2 days, right? If the 10% matters. So the 10% works the same way. When you're indulging, when you're having a good time, when you're on vacation, enjoy that. But you don't have to binge. You don't have to treat it like it's your last vacation ever. You don't have to treat it like it's your last restaurant outing ever. Have the meal, have the sodas, have the dessert, have the food, and move on, right? Because what's gonna happen is you're gonna wish that you did enjoy those times when you now get into your maintenance phase and you're able to do that a bit more. You don't wanna have anxiety surrounding going out to eat and just living your life. You've done the work to get to the point that you are at today, and I hope that seeing this kind of helps you. So this is the menu here. I'm going to stop yapping so that the waiter can come order our food, and I'm going to show you what my food looks like, what I eat, and yeah. So these were our appetizers of choice. We did these lobster and shrimp taquitos. They were so good. It looks like it's topped with some type of pico, some type of cilantro crema sauce. It came with 3, and then I am a squid, okay? I love me some calamari. No matter where I go, if calamari is on the menu, if I find out calamari is on the menu, I'm going, okay? And it came with another type of avocado crema sauce and some marinara, some lemon to squeeze over it. It was so yummy. I had one of the lobster taquitos, and then I pretty much smashed that whole plate of calamari. I'm not gonna lie to you. Pretty much everything I had was fried, but again, recovery habits is all it is about, guys. I had my fish and chips. It came with 2 pieces of cod and a bit of French fries. We left one of the taquitos, and I had a funnel cake, a few bites of funnel cake after this meal. But like I will always say, what you do most of the time is what sticks, not the one-off outings. It becomes a problem when your default is eating this way 100% of the time. And that's what got most of us to our highest, most uncomfortable weight. So don't allow yourself to have any type of ongoing anxiety regarding this when you know you don't do this 100% of the time like you used to. So I hope you enjoyed this and that this was helpful, and I will see you very soon. Bye.